Oh man, I love the Jets-Giants rivalry. I love the Jets-Giants rivalry. It just needs to be known that I love the rivalry between the Jets and the Giants. Why? Because no matter what, the Jets will always think they're better than the Giants, and no matter what, the Giants will continually be better than the Jets. I don't know how else to say it. It sucks, but it's true. Reality is reality. So, ladies and gentlemen, we did have a bunch of preseason games take place. We also have, so we got a bunch of stuff on that to talk about. You have a couple other things to touch on. We also will having Buddhasport.com calling in around about 10 after 11, give or take. But with that said, what I would like to do is just talk about really a couple of the bigger moments that came out of this weekend per se, not really, the game. I'm not really trying to break down the games and all that kind of stuff. I don't need that. Don't need that at all. But there are a couple things that came out of this weekend that I really felt are worth talking about. And since I already got you guys started in the chat room, we might as well start off with the Giants dominating the Jets. Yet the Giants offense really didn't look too good. Eli threw the pick. They didn't play that well. They weren't running the ball that perfectly. Think about it. It was 13-0 going in at half. Outside of 2 field goals and a pick to the house. That was it. That's how the Giants scored. The Giants' offense was not playing very well. The Jets' defense played very well. But the problem was the Jets' offense couldn't play average. They couldn't move the damn ball. They can't protect Sanchez. The guy is not going to play good if he cannot be protected. Now, I understand you're facing Pierre-Paul. I understand you're facing a Justin Tuck, and I understand you're facing an OCU Manure. I get that. I don't care, though. You should be able to protect your quarterback long enough to throw a slant route. Can they? No. Hunter was getting eaten alive. What is this team going to do when they face Buffalo and Mario Williams? What are they going to do when you face Miami and Cameron Wake? What are you going to do when you face New England and Bill Belichick's schemes? It's like you got Mangold, DeBrickashaw, Ferguson, and then 3 guys that you're like, can I really trust this guy to be my starting offensive lineman? The Giants have the best defensive line in the NFL. When they bust out their NASCAR package, that is extremely hard to argue with. There are not many teams you could sit there and say, well, they might have a better down 4 lineman. No, I completely understand where you're coming from, Eric. I can't argue with you on that one. What I can, if there's anything I will argue with about the New York Giants, it's their mid and back level defenders. At linebacker, Keith Rivers, all right, can he stay healthy? That's the real question with him. Athletic-wise, he's a freak of nature. You got Blackburn, but Blackburn knows the Giants' defense, but is he that good? Or is he just a great fit for how the Giants use him? Eric puts in the chat room that Sanchez must like it on his back because he'll be there all year. It's sad to say, but it looks that way for right now. They are going, and the problem is they don't have dominant wide receivers on the outside where they could hold guys in and max protect and only have two guys or 3 guys go run routes. Sanchez's pick to the house was a badly thrown ball, but you've been seeing that all preseason long. Eli's pick was a bad throw. The Jets were getting to him and they forced him to get rid of it sooner than he wanted to, but it still was a bad throw. He sailed it over his wide receiver by like 3-4 feet. LaRon Landry looked real good making that pick. It's awesome when the quarterback throws the ball right at you. I'm sorry. If I'm a Jets fan, I sit here and say, what are we going to do? How are we going to score points? What I would also like to see is them getting the rookie wide receiver involved. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I keep wanting to say Michael Floyd, but that's who went to Arizona. If you guys could help me in the chat room, the rookie wide receiver, Stephen Hill. Never mind. Stephen Hill. I'd like to see to get that kid involved a little bit. Maybe a deep shot or two. Now, what I will say, if you're a Jet fan, because I want to move on to some of the other football things. I will say, if you are a Jet fan, you need to remember one thing for your offense. You guys are practicing the Wildcat offense with Tim Tebow, but not playing it in games because you do not want teams to get film on it. So, with that said, do keep in mind that your offense has its hidden weapon, but you're not going to use it until the season gets here. I personally disagree with you on that one, Eric. I think Mark Sanchez is the Jets starter. The Jets' problem is not Mark Sanchez. The Jets' problem is the fact that they've done nothing to build around Mark Sanchez. They haven't brought weapons in for Sanchez. They haven't built an offensive line around Sanchez. They haven't done anything. At this point of Eli Manning's career, if he was Sanchez, people thought the same thing about him. People were like, why is Eli our starting quarterback? People wouldn't even go buy Eli Manning football jerseys. They haven't. They have not. They would not go buy an Eli Manning football jersey in the 4th year of his career. And then, yes, in the 4th year of his career, he went and won a Super Bowl. But I am telling you right now, he is not the one that got them to the Super Bowl. You know, I mean, a little insider info, apparently hearing it from a Jets coach in a bar in Morristown. I've hung out with a couple of Jets coaches in bars in Morristown, so I truly believe that you could run into one. That's for damn sure. But, you know, you sit here and it's like, when you look at that playoff run that, you know, Giants got that first Super Bowl with Eli Manning, he made that amazing play in the pocket where everybody and their mother thought he was sacked. Every Patriot fan in this world will tell you that the ref should have blown the whistle and the play should have been dead. And then Tyree makes a amazing catch. But outside of that, Eli Manning didn't carry that team. It was their run game and their defense that got them to the Super Bowl. No disrespect to Eli, but that's the truth of the 2007 Super Bowl. It wasn't Eli Manning. Now, he helped them win games during the regular season. He helped them win games in the playoffs, but he wasn't the carrying force behind that team winning. Mark Sanchez needs to find a similar role. It's New York. That's his biggest problem. It's New York and it's the NFL. Both situations look at you and say, what have you done for me lately? But with that said, we're going to be riding the Jets for, weeks to come, and we're going to be complimenting the Giants for the most part for weeks to come. So whatever. I'm dreading September 5th. I'm excited for it to get here, but I'm dreading it. It is going to be a rough game to watch. Anyway, Eric puts in the chat room how terrible the replacement refs have been, and that is completely the truth. It really is. And Christina, I'm going to read that real quick. I mean, I do want to move on from the Jets thing, but Christina makes 2 good points. Keep in mind when Tebow is on the field, the defense backing him up isn't the same as the lineup for Sanchez. And that's completely true. They approach it completely different. And then she also points out, why start a quarterback with a worse completion percentage compared to Mark Sanchez? And it is very, very true. But those are great points, Christina. And Eric with their replacement refs, I completely agree with you. The Giants did lose a touchdown opportunity because of a blown no interference call in the end zone. I was sitting there watching it with my friends, and I'm like, I hate the Giants, and I hate to admit this, but that was pass interference, and they should have called it. But they didn't, and it is what it is. The Sanchinator is the QB that's bringing them this. I like that. Oh, man. What's up, Zachary? Welcome to the chat room, bud. How you doing today? So let's move on. Look, like I said, I didn't want to go game by game and sit here and try to break down the games and what happened, so on and so forth. But there are a couple things that popped out for me on this weekend that just needed to be mentioned. The Minnesota Vikings game. Now, I don't know if I got Louis Primo in here, but me and him were chatting about it yesterday, actually, about Minnesota Vikings rookie linebacker Audie Cole. Audie Cole on Saturday picked off 2 passes on back-to-back plays for touchdowns. He scored 2 touchdowns in 13 seconds. 13 seconds. Unbelievable. Now, this guy was a 7th-round pick, I believe. Not many people expected him to make the team, but he may have become a team favorite, a fan favorite with his performance on Saturday with the 2 interceptions to the house. One came off of Tyler Thigpen and another one off of Brad Smith. But what really matters to me is after his 2nd pick to the house, you saw the team. You saw Jared Allen, Cedric Griffin. You saw veteran guys that were so happy for the kid that they ran down to the end zone to give him hugs and high fives. Now, Jared Allen's 36 years old. He tries to choose when he runs. He chose to run to this kid. And you got to be happy for him. You got to be proud of him. I'm going to try and see while talking if I can find the background to this kid. While we're talking about Minnesota and I'm looking for this, I will mention the fact that Adrian Peterson is due to play, I believe, this coming week. I think he plays on Thursday. And if that's true, that's freaking awesome. Because Adrian Peterson, most people did not think was going to be back by week 1. And he's looking to come play, in the 3rd preseason game, ladies and gentlemen. The 3rd preseason game. Let's see. I got Audie Cole's player card. He played in North Carolina State, born June 1st, 1981. 1989, 23 years old. 6'5", 239 pounds. This was in Friday night. I apologize. I said Saturday. But 7th-round pick in the 2012 draft, and he still really isn't guaranteed to make the roster. But I do like this kid, and you got to be proud of him. Who gets 2 picks in 13 seconds and brings them both to the house? You got to figure the second one, he was freaking exhausted. Couldn't believe he was still running.